All right. Hi, Brian.
Hello, I'm Mariah.
How are you?
I'm good. Um, Busy. Good thing. And
Good.
yourself?
Busy as well. For our listeners, we just had an internal hackathon. That was a lot of fun. That took a lot of our time. Um, so it was fun to work with like a bunch of other people from different teams this week and to get like a solution up and running within like 40 or like a prototype up and
Yeah.
running
A lot of good
in
solutions
48
too.
hours. I know.
Well above expectations. I
You
told
better
y'all
have voted for mine.
I
Conflict of
didn't.
interest.
I didn't. It was up there. It was up there.
It was
Um,
a lot to do.
yeah.
So,
Your presentation was good. And then before that, we talked to Tenzo T,
mhm.
Steve from Tenzo T. I thought that went really well.
I thought so too. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to try Tenzo tea.
For the listeners out there, we have learned we now purchase Tenzo tea, right? Actually, mine's
Hmm.
supposed to come to me the next day or two, and I did receive my shipping notifications from Tenzo tea, SMS and email. I actually have a few recommendations for them, so I think I'm going to send them to Steve. Just
Yeah, you
better things
should.
to do.
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, we ordered them, ordered our Tenzo tea after talking to Steve. So we're gonna enjoy it. Mine's supposed to come, I think, this week. So
Okay,
yeah. I only ordered it a day after you, but I also got my notifications. So that's
I
fun.
did standard shipping. I didn't do
Yeah.
the fast shipping. Okay, so last time we were all over the place. This time we can be a little more structured, right? Episode two, we learn a little bit more. So we have
Yeah.
a few subjects that are pretty just out there and a few subjects that are more based on post-purchase, e-commerce, or specifically about Malomo.
Yes.
Again, I'm going to
Yeah.
go to you. Where do you want to start first?
Okay. I think it would be fun. I know we kind of chatted about it already in our meeting, but recapping like how you felt with your introduction to podcasting and like listening back to yourself, the learnings. I think it's always so fascinating to hear what people have to say. It's very relatable. So if you
I,
wouldn't mind recapping all of that.
of course, I am already trying to learn a little bit more in this podcast of what to do. You probably will see a few things, but it was hard for me to listen. Oh my gosh. I picked out, I, so, um, like, I think I'm really hard on myself. So just listening and saying, "Ooh, I shouldn't have said that," or there's that awkward pause there. Why did I mention that subject? That makes no sense. The way I use my hands is crazy. I now know I'm trying to. I did a little bit of YouTubing, and there's like a box. I don't know if you knew this or not, but they recommend thinking about it like a box. So my hands can
Okay.
go here. If they
Mm.
go outside the box, that's wild. You don't
Oh,
want wild unless you're trying to be funny, which I'm not trying to be funny, or if you're exaggerating. So you'll realize, or please call me out if you see my hands outside the box, which will probably be
okay.
happening
I
soon.
I was gonna say probably once you get into a topic, it like that'll go out the window. But
That's
I
gonna go out the
haven't really
window.
heard that notion, so I think it's really funny that you like watched YouTube videos on it and that you looked that up.
One YouTube video.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sorry. It's not plural. One video.
It might be
Um,
more. I didn't want to take up all my time looking or watching these videos. So it was
yeah. I
the hands and the speech too.
okay.
Hard
Yeah,
to
I
listen to
think that
myself.
yeah, the speech is really hard to like not be super hard on yourself with. I mean, when I first started, I know I told you this, but for listeners, when I first started listening back to myself, I was like, oh my God, what am I saying? But it gets easier, and I think you did great. So
Thank you.
there's
Thank you.
solace in that. And now this is our third episode in for your third
When do
episode.
you become pro? Second,
Um,
is it after you finish one season?
like probably like 16 episodes in maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, it felt rewarding because Steve said, and we didn't make him say this, but he was
Yeah,
like, "This was a great podcast. Like, it was
I
a
know.
genuine conversation. um, that made it all worthwhile. So that's what we want.
Yes, I agree. That's the best kind of feedback you can get from a guest. So it was great.
Who's our next guest?
Our next, so we'll be chatting with next Olipop.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'll be
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And
I'm really excited.
we're purchasing Olipop
Yes,
before, so we'll be
we have
drinking
learned.
Olipop while talking Olipop.
Yes,
That's the rule.
yeah, that is the
Awesome.
goal. We will set ourselves up for success with that and be on top of it.
Cool. Awesome.
But I can actually pose like a actual question now because that
Okay.
was more just something I think is fun to get recorded. But okay, I'm want to get your opinion on this. So a sales rep who sends a gift card like in like a LinkedIn message or an email or something. Do you think it's effective? Do you think it works? What do you think like the response is, either for yourself or generally?
Okay. Is it Richard? I forgot his first name. All right, Cialdini. The book is like seven rules, right? And one of those rules is called reciprocity, and it's this
Mm,
old marketing principle that's still in existence today. And so, since I'm always thinking about that, I do not whatsoever take that gift card or take that gift because I know that I just will feel this ration to give them back something. So that's the reason I don't take those gift cards. Do I think it's effective though? Yes, because of that principle, and for the people that aren't thinking about that principle on a day-to-day basis and saying, "Oh, just going to take this gift card. What's so hurtful for that?" But it is effective, 100% effective.
okay, like effective in getting someone to like chat with you, like hop on a call. Just
Yes.
defining the effective. What do you think?
Um, it's effective in getting someone's attention, right? Like all as marketers, all we're trying to do is just get those 15, 20 seconds of someone's attention. And if we've got a great pitch and get them interested, perfect. It's one way to get that 20 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
But it's it's insane though. I mean, my LinkedIn inbox. I'm curious, is yours like this or no? Is it mine is gift card after gift card after gift card. And then it's donations now. I don't know, have you seen that too? We'll give a donation of $50 to your
Okay,
charity
yeah.
of the choice if you take this call with us.
I have seen donate well, so I've only gotten one um of it being like gift card or donation. So it's kind of one and the same. But I do agree it's effective in capturing your attention. And maybe it's just the worry in my mind, but I also do you think it ever comes off as like somewhat like a not a catfish, but like a scam, like that someone's like
Yes.
hacking you?
Oh,
Like is that like
oh,
because
I
that's
didn't
like
think about
what
that.
that's what came to my mind when I initially got them, but maybe just because it was like that was the first one I ever got, and I was like
The
I
email
was like
is a scam, or like the actual process of redeeming a gift card is a scam.
both. Like the email is a scam to then like get you to click on something to then be hacked.
Hmm.
Like because you know how like if you
Yeah,
like
yeah. Tell you
maybe
all
it's
these SMS messages all the time.
yeah, or like Instagram too, people will DM you and be like, click on this thing,
Doesn't
and then
happen to
people's
me.
Instagram. Okay, well, maybe this is context for why I'm thinking like this,
Okay, it
is
probably
because
is.
like people's Instagrams will get hacked, and then so it's like all these weird stories and posts get put up, and then people text the person and are like, hey, is this you? Like, it looks like you're not. Like, some of them are really weird. So it's like, it looks like this is not you. And then a person like has to delete their Instagram, go back and be like, I got hacked because I clicked on this thing. Like, don't do
Hmm.
it. So that's what my initial response was to getting one in LinkedIn. And I was like looking at the brand, the person, like the software that they use to automate like gift cards and stuff. Because I was like, I don't know if this is like an actual person reaching out or if it's a bot or a hacker or something.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, can it get someone's attention? Yes. And if you're looking to get someone's attention, it's a good way because it's incredibly hard today when there's so many brands out there. And every consumer only has 24 hours in their day, and it's usually made up of their personal things to attend to. And so if you're trying to get those 20 seconds, it's definitely a reasonable way to do it. But there's so many trade-offs. I think it downplays your brand. Sales team usually, like if it's a marketing team that's doing it and then passing off that lead to the sales team, usually the sales team's like, I want real leads that are actually interested in the product. And that's the problem. They're interested in the gift card. And then you have to educate them on the product. And a lot of the sales team is just interested to sell them, not to take 3, 4, or 5 phone calls and educate them. So that's what I've seen. Okay, here's my question for you.
I'm ready.
This is a retention chronicle. This goes back to our conversation with Tenzo T, right? And he kept on saying he has high LTV.
Hmm.
He was really excited about that, which you should be really excited about. Now, as a consumer, are there brands out there right now that you're spending money on where the brand is saying Mariah is a high LTV customer?
Um, no. Short answer.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Do you have
So
any subscriptions to anything right now?
Spotify, I think, is the only
Huh?
one. Yeah. Um,
How long have you been a Spotify customer for?
oh, so long. Like it's
Oh,
not if it's not like a obviously like it's not a like consumer goods brand, and so it's a little bit different, but I think since definitely since college. I think since high school as well.
wow.
So
Is it because you
upwards
didn't
of
want
10
the
years.
ads? That's the reason?
Yeah. Because I listen to so much music
Hmm.
that, and like for workouts too, like it could just destroy the like workout for me. So if like you're in a test piece, so for listeners, I was a college rower. So test pieces are very like high energy, high stress. And so if you have, and the most standard test for a rower is their 2K. So that give or take is around like 7:30 to 8:30 minutes it takes to row a 2K. And so if you have like even just one like 30-second or a minute ad, that's an eighth of your whole test process. And like it really, really impacts how you're doing. So like I had like a playlist that was my 2K playlist, and it was like
Hmm.
every song I knew which was coming on because like that was a cue for me to be doing this in like the race.
Oh,
So I think that's probably why I converted to being a paying customer and having a subscription because I didn't want, and like that's only the 8 minute test. We had 10Ks that are
yeah.
40 minutes long. So it's like you would have two because I think it's like 30 seconds or 1 minute ads for every 30 minutes that you're listening. And so they had
Okay.
a good system. And also you couldn't choose, I think it was like you couldn't queue up songs or like something weird and that you couldn't have a playlist or a queue or something if you didn't have the paid version. And so I was like, I'm a playlist person when I'm working out.
Okay. So you're doing it to save time.
Hmm.
Yeah, you could say save time. Be more productive in your day. Why not move to all the other alternatives?
I think it's because one, I feel like now I'm in the life stage where I'm like, oh, I would actually do that and be consistent. Because a lot of, at least like for food brands,
Hmm.
I, in college, I was going to the dining hall up until senior year. And then now working in the space, I'm exposed to a lot more brands that I have either tried or want to try. So I think I'm just like honestly early in the consuming life stage of like higher end products that have things like subscription. Before it was like I go
Yeah,
to
I
the
get it.
grocery store and just like get stuff that look good. Like I wasn't really doing much shopping online for food until the last year moving to Indianapolis. And then in terms of products, in terms of stuff I use day to day, I don't have a ton. Like my mind goes to makeup. I'm not wearing makeup every day. And so it's like on the weekend. So it usually lasts me a pretty long time. and I'm not good enough at it to like actually know what I would like good brands that I should get. So like now I'm just trying that stuff out of like from friends like Ilia, like
Yeah.
I just bought some of their products, like trying them out, but they're not even a subscription service. So I think it's for
In
me,
order to get to a subscription service there, you need to feel really educated and you need to feel really good about the brand before going
yeah,
into a
yeah,
subscription.
yeah. So like I'm now in the, and I think it's a direct correlation because of our industry of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are great. I'm being exposed to a lot of brands and I'm like, oh, I
Right.
could see myself subscribing to them. I just haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and like other subscription stuff, like beauty products and whatnot. I'm like, I don't have a ton that have subscription options or the ones that I use
Yeah.
yet.
So here's, I could think of two, and
Mhm.
the
Is this
two
for
are,
you?
yeah, this is for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awkward if I knew two for you. Two for
Give
me.
me recommendations. No.
Yeah, yeah. Well, these are interesting recommendations. One is, I think a year ago is when I started subscribing to Wall Street Journal.
I was gonna
Um,
say if you say like New York Times, like yeah,
yeah.
or Wall Street, yeah.
And second is, have you heard of the Tavala oven?
Mm-mm.
So it's uh, you're paying for the oven, and it's one of those. Oh my gosh, I forgot the word. Like just a countertop.
Like toaster oven?
Yeah, toaster oven. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
It's a toaster oven. Thank you. And you pay for a subscription to like a meal, and you get one, two, three, four. You can decide on how many meals per week. They come in the mail, and you put it into the toaster oven, and like you scan the barcode, and it automatically knows the oven, or I'm sorry, the temperature and the time, and then it comes out. The other thing you can do with the toaster oven is it
That's
has the
cool.
bar can or the bar uh,
Code?
barcode, and you can scan it, and it recognizes what product it is. It already knows like how long and the temperature to cook it at. So I've been off and on that, but I think those are the two things that I spent probably the most. Like they would see me as a high LTV customer, and I kept on thinking that, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying too. It's about consistency, right?
Yeah.
Like if I know exactly what I'm going to be getting every single month, I'll pay for that, especially if the quality is high. Wall Street
Yeah.
Journal hasn't changed in hundreds of years. It's crazy. But like for me too, I wanted to move to a paper so I wasn't spending all my time by breaking news and then through my phone. So I get my news in the morning, read it, and done for the day. Trying to save time there, but I know exactly what I'm gonna get every single morning. And then for the Tavala, the quality of the food is super high, like super high. So I know what I'm gonna get every single. Sure, I could change my order up, but the quality, I'll know what quality I'll get. Um, so I was thinking about like the Tenzo T thing too. Like if I will be a subscriber to Tenzo T, the quality is high and it stays high. For me, that's what matters most. That's why
Yeah.
I'll stay a customer. If I don't know what I'm getting every single month, or if the quality changes, product changes a little bit, or even if I'm hesitant, like from a cross sell or upsell for something new, that's where it gets tricky, I think.
Yeah. Like I could see myself being a subscriber to something that I'm consuming every day. I just don't like even for drinks like Tenzo tea, like I'm really excited to try matcha. And I'm like, maybe this is like a better caffeine substitute for me because I just don't find that I need a ton of caffeine that like traditional coffee gives me.
Yeah.
So it's like I could see that, but I think you're right in that. Like the only other thing I can think of is I tried HelloFresh, which is similar to
Yes.
that of like the meals, but I found that I was traveling too much, that I didn't need like all of the meals all at once. And I'm cooking for myself, right? So it's like if I had like a family right now to feed, that would be so convenient. But um that was one thing, like the subscription that I had to stop because I was like, I have so much food now. It's too much for me
Yeah.
at this point in my life. But I know I'm like that's a really good option if where I'm at in my life changes later
So
down the road.
HelloFresh does a ton of advertising, right? Like they are
Hmm.
everywhere, and
They're
they're
big
pretty big
podcast.
into influencer, yeah, and podcast advertising.
Hmm.
Um, Guess what their I just Googled this right now. Guess what their retention rate is.
Ooh, okay, this is fun. Huh. Is it like 20%?
That's a good guess.
It is?
15. It's
Oh my God,
15%.
okay.
That's really good. I mean, it makes complete sense now. Like, that's so low. They only
Hmm.
retain 15% of their customers after 12 months, it says. Um, and it says their other competitors, Blue Apron and Home Chef, retain even
Yeah,
more at 8% after 12 months. Um, that's why they spend so much on acquisition because they're not retaining all their customers, which is the point of our podcast. If you can retain your customers, and then you don't have to spend so much on acquisition.
yeah.
That's crazy. 15%. That's so low. It makes sense though.
I think it's like honestly, I loved having it. It was really easy meal prep and really good food. Like
Mm-hmm.
it felt like I was a chef. Um, don't laugh too much about that.
Sorry.
But
Pardon
no, but it really, I was like, oh, it's so convenient
me.
and
Mm-hmm.
great. It was just too much for me on my own. And so
It's a
like,
lot.
yeah, it was like each meal I could get 2 or 3 meals out of, which is great. But then by the time the next box came around, I was like, oh my God, I've only used half of the food from the other one. And then so it was like too much and then traveling and whatnot, you're not gonna bring a box of
Yeah.
HelloFresh with you on a plane. So um yeah,
It's
but
hard to
it's
change your behavior.
exactly.
That's just the end result of that.
Yeah.
All right. I have well, it's your turn. Topic.
Okay.
If you got something.
My I don't even have like a question around this, but we were
Okay.
talking about it on our other meeting as well. And we had to stop, but Disney adults, because you recently went to Disney.
Do you want to go here?
I do want to go here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Um, which I think is really fun, like fun to note that you wanted to go on all the roller coasters and like we're trying to bring your kids. So I want
Of
you to
course.
tell a little bit more about that. Um,
Okay.
but Disney adults, like, what do you like? When did you first become aware of Disney adults? I guess we can start there, like that notion. So like,
Okay. Well, I'll give a little bit of backstory here.
yeah, yeah,
I think so. I have an 8-year-old son, a 6-year-old daughter, uh, and we took them to Disney World when we were just coming out of COVID, something like that. Um, and we then went to Disneyland maybe a year after, and the opportunity came up again to go to Disney World again. So this was our third time we took the kids to Disney World, and I think it was during that, or let me stop. The Again, 8 and 6, they're just starting to enjoy rides, but nothing crazy. I do like roller coasters. So it's the worst. It was one of the worst feelings where like there's a roller coaster. I forgot which one exactly.
you're
Like
damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
yeah, yeah.
Can't win.
I want to go. I can't go by myself, or I could try to drag a kid with me, but they don't want to go. So I just we're going on these little rides. But when I was doing the research, I mean, for Disney these days, it's crazy. We could talk about this at a later time, but you can do tons of research to understand like what you're getting into. But it was through that research that I then understood there's this term of adult Disneys, which are what I think of only adults like without children going to Disney often, very frequent.
Yeah.
What do you want to know
Okay.
about it?
I like that you defined it. I was gonna ask you, like, give your definition.
Yes,
So it was this time around that you like kind of learned about the terminology,
yes.
or
It
was it?
started coming
Okay.
up more like during my research. Adult Disneys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping you would say that because you say adult Disneys instead of Disney adult. I think it's really fun.
There's no
Like
proper
blur.
term.
You're right. You're right. We're here to say. I think there is though. Like it
Okay.
is.
Disney
But I bring it
adults.
up. I bring it up also because I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Armchair Expert, and
Okay.
one of their like branches that fall under that podcast is called Flightless Bird. And it's this New Zealand co-host who started out like coming on the Armchair Expert podcast to talk about like conspiracy theories. So super interesting. He did all the research, like talk with people, whatever. And then his new series is about like interesting or weird phenomena in the US that he's trying to understand as someone who is
So
from New
outside the
Zealand.
US. I
Yes.
gotcha.
So it's very interesting. Like what are some other topics? I think he talks about like oh my God, I have to look it up. But anyways, I just was listening to the one right after we chatted about you going to Disneyland, and I was like, Disney adults.
Did they have an episode about this or no?
Yes,
Oh, they did.
yeah, yes. So
Did you
that's
learn
I
anything
have.
interesting?
Well, I feel like all I really learned is that like how many more like Disney adults are out there, or like why they like the connection that they feel with like Disneyland and like um I'm like halfway through it right now, so
Hmm.
maybe you can follow it up. But like there's like hidden perks and stuff like that, that if you're like a frequent goer, I guess, um, you can like get exclusive perks. And then there's also like, have you heard of Club 33?
No.
Okay, so it's like I guess this elite club in Disneyland. Like there's all these behind the scene things that I
Hmm.
did not know, and I've only gone once as a kid. Um, and so like I remember the pins, like collecting the little pins in
Yes,
Disney.
I've
Like
seen
I
that.
was obsessed with that. Like we all my siblings and I had a little lanyard, and it was like the biggest thing if my parents like let us like get a pin that day,
Yes.
and like trade them with like the characters and stuff. So that was like my experience of Disney. So I haven't had like a ton of exposure just because I've only gone once. Um, but I think it's so interesting.
It's okay. I'm going to tie this into our theme because
Yeah,
if there are, and hopefully there are D2C founders or just D2C brands listening right now, if you're thinking about high LTV, read anything you can about Disney World, and like theme parks specifically. Because you buy your ticket, and after you buy your ticket, everything is an upsell, everything is a cross sell. Oh, like you said, like you can join these exclusive clubs. Um, they have, I don't think it's called Fast Track or Fast Pass anymore, but right, you can then
yeah,
upsell to get in front of the line. They have mobile ordering now, and you can, I think, get in line earlier in mobile ordering through some sort of upsell. Uh, there's there are packages where you have like special days, right, and special occasions that then is a higher price than the standard ticket, but then it's more exclusive. I think there's so many honestly great ideas that a lot of
yeah.
D2C brands can take advantage of when they learn more about how Disney conducts its business.
We might be becoming Disney adults on this call.
We're
What if we just
educated
study?
Disney
Yeah,
adults now.
yeah. Well, but you're right. There are, and like so much of the branding too goes into it. Like all the little pins, all the characters,
Yes.
all the employees dressing up as the characters, all the like rides being after movies for your favorite people. And like I remember the Lego experience being so like monumental because it was like they had all these different like
Yes.
statues and everything built with Legos, and then it's like they sell miniature versions in the store. Like it is a good, it is a good, like a
Let's put a pin
little.
on this. I think we could have another episode that's just dedicated to how a D2C brand can utilize the best practices of Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Let's do it.
My only ask is
Yeah.
that we'll title the episode that we become Disney adults and that we actually go to Disney.
Oh.
Do you think those are easy sells? I think
First
so.
one, yes. Second one will be hard to expense.
I
Maybe
think we can do it.
well, they have a creators fund now. Yes. And
Oh,
like influencers fund. But it's highly exclusive, what you know.
of
But
course it
maybe we
is.
have a chance. We'll see.
Okay, maybe. After I hear that they hear this episode, I feel like they have to
Yeah,
let us in
yeah.
that
They're
fund.
gonna tune
Yeah.
into the next one.
Okay. We'll
Okay,
put a pin
good.
in it though.
That was good. That was good. I love that at the end we either evaluate, we're like, that was good, no, that was bad.
A plus.
Okay, how about so Tenzo T and
Uh-huh.
Steve brought this up on our last episode, and I knew about them before, but I think I should know a lot more about them, which is Mr. Beast,
Okay, okay.
right?
Um, yeah, Steve did bring him up.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so I actually don't know a ton about him, so this might be fun for us.
yes,
Um, all I know is that he is a YouTube like personality or person or like influencer. And so I know that he does like stunts and it's like
stunts.
yeah, yeah. Like it like if okay, look him up right now and I'm sure you'll see like some of his top videos are I hunted 100 people for I don't even know how many. This is like some games, so it's like not actually hunting, but sorry, I'm counting zeros. Okay, for $1 million. So I hunted 100 people for $1 million on some game. Another one is titled I
Hmm.
survived the plane crash. Another one is I give some ungodly number of subscribers. Oh, I gave my I think it's 10 a million billion, I don't know, 100 million subscriber an island. So it's like rooted in the extreme yeah, and people watch.
So, oh, interesting. Okay. I that's what I wanted to ask you. So was how did he get his start? Right? Because I know what he did after and the um now that Mr. Beast hamburgers, or burgers,
Mhm.
I should say, is
Yeah.
kind of like what he's trying to focus on and very successful at it right now. But I didn't know how he got to start. So let's break this down for our audience really quick that maybe is similar to me and has no idea what we're talking about. So it's a really interesting concept, right? Because it
Yeah.
was an individual that has a very large following. We have to figure out how he actually got his large following, but he has a large following primarily on YouTube. And then what he did is like, how can he use that following for to make more money, honestly? And so instead of creating actual stores, he would look at small businesses that are already in malls around the communities that aren't very successful. He would partner with them to be the kitchen and using his brand, bringing people to the store.
Mm.
And he started with hamburgers, and so now you have Mr. Beast hamburgers. But he uses his branding. He uses the store as what they call a ghost kitchen, right? Like a kitchen that only sells, or is there just to primarily make the food, and then they can either it be delivered or there's not really a place to like sit down and eat there.
Yeah.
But it's it's insane.
Okay. It is insane. Okay, so pulled up Wikipedia, so disclaimer might not be incredibly accurate, but because we both don't know because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
this was early, so it says the his real name is Jimmy Donaldson. So began posting videos in early 2012 at the age of 13 under the handle Mr. Beast 6000. And then the early videos were like estimating the wealth of other YouTubers. And then in 2017, he went viral after his counting to 100,000 video earned tens of thousands of views in just a few days. And he's become increasingly popular ever since. And then it says over time, his style of content diversified to include challenge and donation videos that reward thousands of dollars, videos with tasks or survival challenges. Um, so yeah, it sounds like he just like he became viral. He gained a lot
Yeah.
of followers and now can do whatever he wants with those followers. Like you said, go to. Okay, he also runs other several YouTube channels, including Beast Reacts, Mr. Beast Gaming, Beast Shorts, and a
He has a
philanthropy
lot.
channel. He's also one of the 10 highest paid YouTubers of 2020. Okay, he's the founder of Mr. Beast Burger and Feastables, co-creator of Team Trees, fundraiser for the Arbor Day Foundation.
So
So you got a
here's
lot going on.
yeah, here's what's interesting to me. Here's a this is what I saw. Like pretty much, this is when he opened like his store, I think in Minneapolis. Do you see
Uh,
that?
yeah, I can see it.
And the amount of people there. So here's what's amazing to me. I would bet before seeing this that all of these influencers have this following and they strictly stay online. But he has obviously proved that you can use this online following offline. And I always thought that was extremely difficult, and that wouldn't happen. But he's proven that people will come offline and spend money.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it goes back to our conversation, the question I posed to you and Steve of like are influencers in that category of like celebrity endorsements now. Like Emma Chamberlain Coffee and
yes,
Aritzia, they recently did um a pairing. And so Aritzia is like a high-end fashion um like apparel store, right?
yeah,
So Aritzia, what they and I watched a video on this because I thought it was very interesting. But what Aritzia did is like they didn't even make a new like you know how celebrities it's like oh their line with like someone else, right?
hmm,
So it's like they're designing all this. What Aritzia and Emma Chamberlain did was Aritzia was like, we think our fashion, our look, our branding matches you. We want to take our like everyday items and put you in them and like that is the campaign. So it's not even like this new thing. It's just taking what they have and matching, like getting Emma's following to then be like, oh my God, Aritzia, so cute. And then they're now associated together.
yes,
And like
yes,
she was like drinking her coffee too. Like it was like a whole high end, like kind of like business, because Aritzia is a little bit businessy. Like they have
okay,
like trousers and stuff like that. Um, and so it was like this whole campaign, and people were like, that's that's smart because they're like very well aligned originally. So it's not like some random, you know, endorsement that it's like, what does like I saw an example, it's like, what does Zendaya have to do with smart water? But because she's Zendaya, it's like, oh, it's good for the brand. But like Aritzia and Ember Chamberlain, they're very already close together.
yeah,
So that's where it's like, is the influencer space where someone has their specialty? Like Steve was talking about, I think it was Kylie who works for them, who is like the special like recipe creator. Like
yes,
that's where they're an expert. So it's like food brands now know that and want to
yes.
go to them because they're an expert rather than their expertise being in acting, which I think is like a very interesting delineation between the two.
If I was starting a D2C corn brand, like we talked about before, I would first and foremost, like where I would start as a marketer
You would study
is
Disney first.
I would study everything that Disney did to get a high LTV on their customers, and then I would find an influencer that partners well. Oh, actually, hold on, let me take a step back. I would understand like the position, like what do we stand for, and making sure it's different. What like this corn brand is different than all the rest of those corn brands. When you're buying from our corn brand, it means this. If you're buying from other corn brands, it means that. So I would have that statement down. Find an influencer that matches that statement and their personality matches the what we're going for. Partner with them, and then after that is the what you were talking about, and then finding another product vendor that kind of aligns really well and then move to that. That's what I would do. Completely different than any brand probably at least 5 years ago.
Yeah. Crazy
Crazy.
how times are changing. Yeah.
Yes. What
I
I've
think
learned.
that's a great plan. We should roll that out
Let's
into
roll it out. Or someone could
corn
take it.
brand. Yeah. You just have to come on our podcast and tell us that you're taking it. You have to do us that due diligence.
Yes. And then use our affiliate links.
Yes, of course. That's a given. Yeah.
That's good. Um, okay. Anything else?
Um, the only other thing I was gonna mention is I saw that Attentive and Loop integrate now, which is great because two of our strong partners integrate. This is more of the
I didn't hear about
Shopify.
this.
Yeah, this is like
Ooh.
this is now like the real shop talk.
Okay. How'd you hear about this?
I saw it
Or
on LinkedIn. hmm
interesting.
Yeah,
I
Karina
didn't.
posted.
Oh, Karina posted it. I didn't see that
hmm
yet.
Heck yeah.
Maybe I was more focused on our podcast, honestly, but I did not see that.
Is that a slight dig at me?
No, it's great for our podcast.
I know, I'm just kidding. Wait, this
Uh,
is fun. Have you heard of just joshing? Like I'm just joshing with you.
I've heard of it.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Because I
I don't
almost
know
said it.
where.
Okay. It might have been from me, honestly. I don't know. Because I like to say it. It's good enough.
I like that. I'm just joshing with you. I might
Because I
start saying
almost
that.
said it, and then I was like, oh, maybe Brian doesn't know.
No,
So I was like,
this is
we're
the
gonna
thing. You
ask him.
have to say those things so I learn, right?
Okay, you're
Just
right.
joshing with you. What was the other thing that? Oh, that's dope. And there's
Yeah,
something else. We should have multiple choice of what all these terms that I can start using.
we should start a list. Honestly, that would be
Yeah,
smart.
yeah. But to answer your question, I did not see that yet. But this is Attentive and Loop
Yeah,
working closer together, strategic
yeah.
integration. That's good
They
to see.
posted 21 hours ago.
Okay.
So, for those of you who don't know, Attentive is a communication, email and SMS communication platform for e-commerce brands. Loop is a returns platform for e-commerce brands. So, very interesting stuff. And both partners of ours. Very exciting.
Two successful partners. They're both doing really well and trying to figure out what that next step is. Maybe influencer marketing, maybe, well, I guess what they're doing right there is co-branding, right? They're finding someone
Yeah,
else in their market that has different audience. Can they get in front of that audience as well too? And it makes sense.
yeah. It all is related. It all comes circling back. But that was the only last thing that I had to
Okay.
mention that I saw.
Okay.
I'm glad you
Uh,
didn't see it, and I could be the first to tell you.
yeah, no, I did not see it, but you just said it came out, or you saw it less than an hour or an hour ago? No, less than a day ago.
21, 21
Okay,
hours.
21
So
hours. Well,
yesterday.
that's very
Yeah.
specific of you. I
Well,
did
I
not see
have it
that.
pulled up now
Oh,
because I was gonna
well,
check the time frame.
there you go. I don't have a subject or a question, I should say, for you, but more or less a data point that you were talking about before, which
Mm.
proves this hypothesis. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Is it gonna be the average influencer? Because
No.
we meant to look that up, which I
Oh, we
forgot
gotta
about.
do that. Yes, yes, yes.
I
No, no,
know.
no. This is about TikTok and Instagram. So,
Ooh. Oh.
uh, Instagram, Instagram, Meta and Meta put out this report that basically is saying that they have 1/10. I think it's 1/10 of the users and the viewing time as TikTok, and they have to figure out ways to uh, obviously push this. But they said I think it's the amount of publishing that's going on Reels versus TikTok is minimal, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is sharing what's on TikTok and posting it on Instagram Reels, and they have a lot of work to do. Basically, is what came out of that report. And this is
Yeah.
everything you were saying.
I'm telling Brian,
Good for
I
you.
thank you for validating that with
Good for
actual
you.
facts. Um,
They're trying to
that
figure
I
out original. Basically, they're trying to figure out original content, and
yeah.
they don't have any original content on Instagram Reels because it's all coming from TikTok.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say
Do
to
they have a
that
chance?
I well, let's walk through it for a minute or two. I would say I respect Instagram for putting that out there and saying they have a lot of work to do. I
They
think they
didn't
have a
really. It was
chance.
an internal, like it kind of went external, but it was more of an internal thing.
Oh, that's even more
Yeah.
interesting. I would say it's gonna be my guess would be it's a very, very steep incline
Hmm.
because of where they started and what they're known for, right? So like this is going back to like you think of sharing or like ride sharing, you think of Uber.
Yep.
So like that you think of a bandage, you think of Rite Aid, you think of a tissue, you think of Kleenex, like all of that, you think of Instagram, you think of photos. You think of TikTok, you think of videos. And so that's going to be a steep incline because everyone wants to go on Instagram to scroll for videos. I mean, sorry, for photos. Everyone goes on TikTok knowing you're getting videos. And
Hmm.
so like I think just even when you open the different apps, it's like on Instagram, you're probably like scrolling through that in a very public place if you don't have headphones, right? So like it's more of a silent factor. TikTok, you like probably want the audio. So like you're probably at home or like you have your AirPods in, something of the sort. So I think it's gonna be
That's interesting.
it's a little tough, I think, to break that connotation of now Instagram. is both photo and video because they were the leaders in sharing photos.
Yeah. This is
Um,
the this is the conversation we had also with Steve about category creation, which
yeah,
I'm really interested in, but and probably a ton of marketers are. But once you create the category and then you can be the leader of that category, incredibly tough for others to come and be a leader at least. They can come join the space, but they'll always be second to the leader.
yeah.
And most likely, whoever's creating the space is going to be the leader because you're the first one to say, "I'm the leader in this," and it's hard to
Hmm.
move away from that. But yeah, so it
Yeah.
might be like so a headphones thing, right? So Instagram has to work on how do you get people to expect audio and make sure that they start when they start their session on Instagram
Yeah.
with
And
headphones.
how do you do so while not like pissing people off because you're taking the platform that they like for video or for photo sharing
Yeah.
and making it into something that they don't want. Like I think that's why TikTok still is doing well because Instagram Reels is like a separate category from your like main scrolling page, your
Hmm.
main homepage on Instagram, because
Yep.
I'm sure Instagram knows people don't go there for videos right now. And so if you start putting the same look and feel of like just endlessly scrolling on TikTok that you do Instagram, people are going to be upset. So I'm sure that's what also is going to add into it is that time factor that you have to start slow. But it's tough when you have
Hmm.
TikTok that's like booming right now. Um,
So let me ask you this: Is it an
yeah.
like if you're a D2C brand, is it an opportunity to figure out Instagram Reels, or would you say no? Just focus on how do you get in front of brands via TikTok, and then keep on posting
Yeah.
TikToks to all these other platforms.
I would say both because so
Can't say both.
why not? Okay,
Okay,
if you're
fine.
making me choose, then I
Yes,
would
I'm
say
making you
TikTok.
choose.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's tough because you can take the video that you're making on TikTok and just put it on Instagram, but you're
Yeah.
not creating it on Instagram. I mean, a
Right.
lot of people create their TikTok videos out of the app anyways, but that's why I say both because like
Hmm.
you still have followers on Instagram. Like at least from my perspective, people are looking at Instagram followers before they're looking at TikTok followers
Yeah. Yeah.
because Instagram's way more proven out and that like shows your like credibility, I guess.
Yeah.
But TikTok influencers are starting to get up there. Um, so I would say like Instagram is directly probably who you're marketing to, like your followers. TikTok is way more random and it gives you a way better chance of going viral because it's so new and like all the kinks are still being worked out.
Hmm.
So that's why I'd say probably TikTok, you have a wider audience, but Instagram, I'm guessing you would probably have more loyalty in.
Okay. Well, to all of our listeners, you heard it here, folks, from the person that defines herself as right in the middle of Gen Z and millennial of
Yes.
what to do with your digital strategy between TikTok and
Hmm.
Instagram Reels.
Yeah,
I think this worked out really well. I
I
enjoyed
think
this
so
chit chat.
too.
A lot of
Yeah.
more insights in this one
Hmm.
than last time around.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we were ready for this one.
We were having fun with it last
We're
time,
having
but
fun with it.
we're
Yeah,
still
that's true.
having fun with it.
Yeah, come
But
on.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But this was a lot more related, even though we didn't plan for it to be a lot more related
Nice.
to
Okay.
each other.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to our next episode
Hmm.
with Lollipop. And anything else?
It'll be fun. I think we're crushing it, and I hope listeners are enjoying. So
I hope so too.
I'm having fun riffing off ideas with you as
I'm
well.
learning a ton. I think like what at the end of the day, maybe we do start this D2C corn brand and use all these tidbits and get some feedback and share with our listeners.
That's going to be the end of season 2, is us starting our own corn brand.
Let's do it. All right,
All
sounds good, Mariah. Good chatting
right.
with you.
Thanks, Ryan. Talk next time.
Bye.
Bye.